starting with 1 million luck points. Chapter 221, Zhou is amazing. All of them had disheveled hair and dirty faces and were in a sorry state. Some had almost died on the way. Zhou, Su Ling, and Yun Yan were completely unlike the others. Not to mention being full of energy, they did not have any injuries at all. Even their clothes were not damaged at all. The other students felt strange, but Liu Zhan did not find it to be strange. He had seen Zhou attack with his own eyes, so he knew very well how heaven-defying and terrifying Zhou was. Ji Yufan had long arrived here, but he had completely lost his previous confidence and superiority. He was in a sorry state and looked depressed. In fact, he had killed countless beasts and had gained a lot. His strength had also advanced a step further. However, when he saw Zhou, his smile disappeared. His pride as a peak-level genius from a prestigious family had also disappeared. He knew the danger here better than anyone. After entering this training area, he encountered many dangers one after another. His body was already covered in injuries, and his clothes were tattered. On the other hand, Zhou's clothes were brand new and he looked relaxed. It was obvious how powerful he was. In other words, although he was now one step closer to Zhou, there was still a considerable gap between the two of them. However, Ji Yufan quickly understood. Cultivation in the martial Dao was vast and long. Without a special physique and a powerful family background, one could not get far. Most of the peak-level experts came from such factions or had the support of other peak-level experts. As a person with no special physique, no heaven-defying talent, and no family background, it was already extremely difficult for Zhou to go further on the martial path, let alone become a top-level expert. Zhou's lead was only temporary. After some time, he, Ji Yufan, would definitely let Zhou know what cruelty was. Seeing Ji Yufan's meaningful smile, Zhou also smiled. Ji Yufan's family background was extraordinary, his appearance was handsome, and his talent was outstanding. He was perfect in all aspects. Unfortunately, he was a fool. We'll go back the way we came. When we return to the training camp, this training will be over. After everyone arrived, Su Ling said. Many students here were injured. Fortunately, no one had died. Sure. The surrounding students had no objections to Su Ling's suggestion. The strongest people here were Su Ling, Ji Yufan, Liu Zhan, and Zhou. Ji Yufan was arrogant and did not get along with others, so he definitely would not lead everyone out of the training area. Zhou and Su Ling were together, and Liu Zhan had already agreed to Su Ling's suggestion. In this situation, everyone naturally should follow Su Ling. Unsurprisingly, Ji Yufan had only come here to rest temporarily. When everyone returned together, he felt that it was beneath him to travel with them. Although many students were very displeased, no one dared to say anything to young Master Ji. The increase in numbers made everyone more courageous, but the risk of being exposed was also much higher. It was just like walking on the road. A small ant might be very difficult to notice, but a large group of small ants was very obvious. At this moment, more and more foreign races were attracted by them. Almost every time they advanced for a distance, a battle would occur. Zhou was in the crowd and did not have the opportunity to show off. After everyone attacked together, secret techniques covered the sky and earth, directly drowning ordinary foreign races. The one who was truly in the limelight was Liu Zhan, who was attacking in the front. Of course, Liu Zhan's original intention was to seize all opportunities to train himself. He knew very well how powerful Zhou was. In order to quickly reduce the distance between him and Zhou, he had to work extremely hard. Bang! When a black-winged giant lizard appeared, Liu Zhan, who was in the lead, was directly blasted flying as he spat out blood. Peak-level master-level demon beast. It could even be considered as a half-step Grand Master-level demon beast. The expressions of many students instantly turned pale, and a strong sense of helplessness surged into their hearts. Was it really appropriate for a demon beast of this level to appear here? They had only arrived at the 7th fortress for a short period of time, but they were already facing such basic demon beasts. This was too much of an honor for them. Let's gather together and slowly retreat. We can't escape alone, or we'll be defeated one by one. That's right. No one is allowed to run alone. Otherwise, they will be deemed traitors. Don't be afraid. There are so many of us. We can kill it together with some effort. Many students said. Although they said that they were unyielding, they were not confident at all. All of them were afraid to death. Hiss. After the black-winged giant lizard slowly took a few steps forward, a student was so frightened that his limbs went limp and he sat on the ground. He even needed someone to support him when he walked. However, no one laughed because everyone was very afraid now. Even Su Ling and Yun Yan were not optimistic. Although Zhou was powerful, he was not invincible. In this situation, even Zhou was unable to establish the cauldron. It's here. Be careful. Save me. Quick, ask the instructor for help. As the black-winged giant lizard suddenly increased its speed, the students were directly at a loss and started talking at once. On the cliff, Su Menjing was also prepared to help. She was not the one who had arranged for the black-winged giant lizard to appear here. It was actually very unreasonable for the students to fight this lizard. However, the front-line defense line was too large, so it was inevitable that there would be some who escaped. Swoosh! Who knew that at this moment, Zhou would head in the opposite direction? As the others retreated crazily, he rushed towards the armored black-winged giant lizard. Just as many students felt their legs turn weak from fear, Zhou jumped up and suddenly chopped down with his axe. With a single swing of the axe, silence reigned. This axe drew a huge silver line in the air. Under his axe, the huge horn on the armored black-winged giant lizard's forehead was instantly cut off. The black-winged giant lizard was immediately horrified to the extreme. It did not stop and immediately fled in fear. Damn! Zhou is awesome! How impressive! This! How is this possible? How powerful! How impressive! Many students were stunned, and their jaws fell to the ground. All of them looked at Zhou in disbelief, as if they had seen a ghost. Chapter 222, Leading Everyone for Half a Day? Looking at the black-winged giant lizard that was escaping crazily as if its butt was on fire, the eyes of the students from the 7th Elite Training Camp widened. This simply overthrew their understanding. The black-winged giant lizard was 3 times larger than a mammoth. It had 4 wings on its 2 ribs, and its combat strength was very powerful. In its infancy, it had no horns on its forehead. After it gradually matured, a long horn would appear on its forehead. This also proved that its strength had reached its peak. Among the many peak-level master-level demon beasts, the black-winged giant lizard was also ranked at the top. Previously, Liu Zhan had only been struck by the other party and several of his bones had already been broken. If not for the protection of the armor, Liu Zhan would probably have already become a corpse. But now, Zhou had actually chopped off the horn on the black-winged giant lizard's forehead with a single axe. Waves of shock surged in the hearts of the students. Their gazes as they looked at Zhou could no longer remain calm. It should be known that before the end of the month competition last time, Zhou was still ranked at the bottom. It's only been a while since then, but now, not only had Zhou become the strongest of them, his strength had also reached a terrifying level. Many boys looked at Zhou with complicated gazes. Zhang Yi, Yuan Cheng and the others were very happy. Zhou was their friend and they were naturally also happy that Zhou had become stronger. The other boys, on the other hand, were envious. Why? Why does Zhou get to be so powerful? All the boys couldn't help but wonder why they weren't the ones who were so impressive. They could not figure this out no matter how hard they tried. Some boys also looked at Zhou in admiration and were very excited. They were unable to replicate Ji Yufan and Su Ling's strength. After all, the two of them both had special physiques. Zhou Hao, on the other hand, was different. He was only an ordinary person. Since Zhou Hao was able to reach such a height, it meant that they could also do it after working hard. However, these students did not know that they were simply in a different realm from Zhou Hao. The result they could achieve through hard work was naturally also different. Most of the girls looked at Zhou Hao with bright eyes. Even Fang Yu, the Yanjing genius who had previously thought highly of himself and disdained Zhou Hao and the others, had to look at Zhou Hao in a different light now. Zhou Hao's current strength was already incomparable to theirs. Su Ling looked at the heated gazes of many girls and felt very complicated. Of course, she still mostly felt pride. Previously, Zhou Hao had not attacked in the team. Many students even thought that he was afraid to attack. However, reality had given them a ruthless slap. It turned out that the reason why Zhou Hao did not attack was not because he did not dare to attack against the demon beasts, but because he felt that there was no need for him to attack at all. In the following journey, many students were very relieved. This was because as long as Zhou Hao was around, they could directly move around in this training area. Some students were even thinking if they should go back to kill more beasts and earn some points. Of course, they only thought about doing so. This was because the training period was about to end. At this time, they had to return to the edge of the battlefield to complete the training. Therefore, even if Zhou Hao agreed to return, it would be in vain. Thinking of this, many students could not help but be very disappointed, thinking to themselves that they had missed the good opportunity to earn points. The rest of the journey was as smooth as they had expected. Zhou Hao was basically a walking pass. When everyone returned to the gathering point, many people revealed puzzled expressions. Other than instructor Yang Hui, why was there another young woman? Among the many students, some of them came from extraordinary backgrounds and naturally knew Vice Dean Su Menjiang. After a simple exchange, everyone learned that the beautiful young woman was actually the famous Vice Dean Su Menjiang. Many of the weapons and equipment they used, including the cultivation medicines, healing medicines, and equipment, were produced by Vice Dean Su Menjiang. Glancing at the team, Yang Hui immediately revealed a puzzled expression. Yang Hui was confused as she saw that there was still one person missing. Where was Ji Yufan? Of course, this was not a big deal. There were no rules stating that everyone had to move together. However, Ji Yufan was the only one who had yet to return. He was alone in the training area and was alone and helpless. It was still relatively dangerous. On the other hand, Ji Yufan was feeling very smug. The reason why he did not travel with everyone was that he had basically explored the map of the training area during this period of time. Zhou Hao and the others might not be weak, but with so many burdens, it was unknown when they would be able to return to the gathering point. He was different. After these days of exploration, he had already found a shortcut. According to his estimation, Zhou Hao and the others might only arrive half a day later than him. Although he tried his best to restrain himself, he still couldn't hide the smug smile on his face. On the way, they did not encounter any foreign races again and the entire journey was incomparably smooth. This made Ji Yufan even more pleased with himself, feeling that the route he had chosen was really excellent. Of course, even if he racked his brains, he still wouldn't have expected that the foreign races were only scared silly by Zhou Hao. However, when he returned to the gathering point, the smile on Ji Yufan's face disappeared. His face darkened and gradually turned red. Chapter 223, Perfect Timing. Because he realized that other than him, everyone else had already returned. All of them widened their eyes and stared at him. Ji Yufan was confused. After all, their group had more people and would thus be more burdensome for them to travel around. At this moment, Ji Yufan simply doubted his life. Fortunately, after Ji Yufan returned, Yang Hui also started to bring everyone back to the fortress base. The Sky Fighter was very fast, and the distance between the 7th Elite Training Camp and the 7th Spatial Rift was not far. Not long after, they returned to the training camp. Looking at the familiar environment in front of them, many students sighed with emotion. Ah, we finally made it back. That's right. The training area is too dangerous. There were many times when I felt like I was going to die. Looks like we should still cultivate diligently in the future. Look at Zhou Hao, Liu Zhan, Ji Yufan, Su Ling, and the others. They did not have any trouble navigating the training area. Many students felt like they had just survived a disaster. This matter had also stimulated their fighting spirit to cultivate crazily. Some injured students were arranged to receive treatment. This time, it was not only Liu Zhan who was injured. Ji Yufan, who was traveling alone, was also injured. He even almost lost his arm in the training area. Compared to Liu Zhan and Ji Yufan's injuries, Su Ling, Yun Yan, and the others' injuries were not worth mentioning. After calculating the rankings, Zhou Hao got first place as expected. Moreover, he was even more ruthless this time. With more than 26,000 points, he was ahead of the second place by more than 20,000 points. In fact, his score was even calculated after he and Ling Shuiying had switched off the sensing function of the armor when they went to kill the illusionary sound insects. Otherwise, his points would definitely have exploded. After disbanding, everyone returned. On the way back to their residence, all the students had mixed emotions. Zhou Hao and Su Ling naturally walked side by side and returned together. This time, although many boys felt jealous, they felt even more helpless. Although you're very powerful now, the path of martial arts is long and far-reaching. You definitely can't stop now just because you're in the lead. At this moment, the others were mostly complimenting Zhou Hao. No matter how jealous they were, they still had to put up an act. After all, no one wanted to offend Zhou Hao. Otherwise, they wouldn't even know how they would die. Su Ling was different. She had a tacit understanding of their relationship and directly reminded Zhou Hao not to stop or he would be pushed back. Got it. However, if you want to teach me a lesson, you have to at least surpass me. As Zhou Hao spoke, he subconsciously stretched out his hand, planning to pat Su Lingxiang's shoulder. In the end, Su Ling rolled her eyes and glared at him until he retracted his arm back. However, at this moment, Su Ling suddenly gave him a big hug. Others only saw Zhou Hao's glory, but she knew that without a family background, a special physique, or any other outstanding advantage, Zhou Hao had done well. After all, for Zhou Hao to cultivate to this level without having any of those things, the difficulty level must have exceeded everyone's imagination. Zhou Hao did not understand why this girl was suddenly so proactive. However, he still immediately responded to Su Ling's hug. He would be dumb to not take advantage of this opportunity. As for the difficulties on his cultivation path, although it wasn't exactly difficult, it wasn't easy either. However, not everyone can succeed even when given the opportunity. On this aspect, Zhou Hao had done well. After returning to his villa, Zhou Hao immediately showered and changed before thinking about what to do next. After obtaining the heaven level cultivation technique this time, he had opened the door to becoming a heaven realm expert. However, to become a heaven realm martial artist, the cultivation resources required were a terrifying astronomical figure. It was very difficult to obtain so many resources outside the spatial rift. And entering the spatial rift was too risky as it was filled with too many unknown factors. The best solution was still the mystery box and the live stream room. When it came to mystery boxes and live stream rooms, one naturally needed essence crystal, energy crystals, and luck points. Sigh. Where can I get more energy crystals and luck points? Zhou Hao lay on his bed with a headache. There were only so many foreign races in the 7th spatial rift. He had been lucky to encounter a few beast wave attacks and some unexpected situations. At other times, the guards at the front line defense line had already killed all the foreign races that needed to be attacked. It was none of his business. After all, he was now the president of the Supernatural Council. He couldn't shamelessly compete with the experts at the front line for jobs, could he? What Zhou did not know was that as long as he opened his mouth, countless frontline defense lines would invite him to kill the foreign races. Especially now that many changes had happened in the spatial rift. Moreover, there were more than 13 spatial rifts that required high vigilance. Just as Zhou was frowning, his communication device suddenly flashed. It was a voice call from Ding Shiji. "President Zhou, I'm really sorry." Hearing Ding Shiji's words, Zhou immediately smiled unkindly. What did he mean by sorry? Ding Shiji had contacted him at the right time. Chapter 224, Asura Hell. Previously, in order to resolve the problem of the Heaven Realm cultivation technique, he had directly used up all his luck points and energy crystals. Now, when he saw the foreign races, he felt as if he was looking at small gold coins jumping around. Zhou's silence made Ding Shiji feel even more apologetic. Zhou was only an honorary president of the Supernatural Council that received 200 colored energy crystals every month. Now, he had to go to the frontline defense line every 2 to 3 days. No matter who it was, they would feel bad. The life of a supernatural expert should also be valued. They couldn't order a peak-level supernatural expert around all the time, right? But then again, without Zhou, no one would be able to resolve the crisis of the 6th spatial rift. "Give me your phone. Why are you still hesitating at a time like this?" Beside Ding Shiji, Su Menjing also knew what he was thinking. However, at this moment, it was not the time to be bothered about these things. "President Zhou, we know that you must be very unhappy and unwilling. But there's nothing we can do about it. Even if the sky collapses, we still need someone to hold it up. The greater the ability, the greater the responsibility. If you have any requests, we can discuss them. However, the situation in the 6th spatial rift is currently very critical. We have to ask you to help us temporarily to stabilize the situation and buy time for the Green Cloud Division to resolve this crisis." At this moment, Su Menjing was trying to persuade President Zhou to come forward and relieve the pressure of the 6th spatial rift. Zhou felt wronged. He had not even said a word. Why did Ding Shiji and Su Menjing assume that he was unwilling to help? Now that he was going to the front-line defense line, he was simply happier than he was when he was returning home. "I understand, but where's the 6th spatial rift?" He now knew that there were a total of 13 dangerous spatial rifts in China. However, other than the 7th spatial rift that was closest to him, he did not know where the other spatial rifts were. "The exact information and coordinates have been transmitted to your communication device." There was an unconcealable surprise in Su Menjing's voice. She did not expect it to be so easy to persuade President Zhou. After the call ended, in the meeting room, Ding Shiji, Instructor Yang Hui, and the others even gave Su Menjing a thumbs up. With Zhou's help, the situation in the 6th spatial rift could definitely be stabilized to the greatest extent. They could now also buy time for the Green Cloud Division. By the time the experts of the Green Cloud Division arrived, they would be able to completely suppress the crazy attack of the foreign races this time. In the villa, Zhou's figure moved and directly appeared in midair. Then, he turned into a long rainbow beam and rushed towards the 6th spatial rift. He had previously heard a very important piece of information. He needed to be faster this time. Otherwise, the Green Cloud Division would send experts to snatch the job. He was now also a member of the Green Cloud Division and knew very well how powerful these guys from the Green Cloud Division were. If more than 10 people like Ling Shuiying came, then no matter how many foreign race experts there were, it would have nothing to do with him. What Zhou did not know was that even in the Green Cloud Division, Ling Shuiying was also a top-notch expert. Not to mention 10, there were only 6 martial artists of her level outside the spatial rift. Including the current Zhou, there were only a total of 7 people. The other martial artists from the Green Cloud Division were all peak-level supernatural experts and below. Their strength was not much stronger than Din Shi and the others, and they were even slightly inferior. The sixth spatial rift had now directly transformed into the Asura hell. Countless foreign races had already rushed to the city at the front line and were fighting the martial artists and soldiers guarding this place. Kill! Kill them and force them back. We have to hold on. Hold on. A supernatural expert's armor seemed to have been pierced by a laser, and a fist-sized bloody hole was burned in his abdomen. However, he was still trying his best to command the battle. The situation is actually so tense. After Zhou tore through the air and arrived, his expression became solemn. The foreign race's attacks were even faster and more violent than he had imagined. This was the first time he had seen these foreign races break through the defense line and kill their way into the front-line city. Blood had already flowed into rivers on the tall city tower. The blood belonged to both the foreign races and the human martial artists. Everyone crazily wanted to seize back the city gate tower and kill all the foreign races, but facing the foreign races that were coming at them like a tide, they were simply unable to do anything. Chapter 225, 1 against 10,000. Ha! After shouting, Zhou directly circulated his essence energy and used the demonic wood palm of the greenwood spring autumn art cultivation technique. Suddenly, a huge palm print smashed down from the sky. Several machine race siege machines, as well as many powerful machine race and demon race beings, were all completely shattered by this huge palm print that fell from the sky. This was the essence energy caused by a heaven realm technique. Using a heaven realm technique to kill these low-level foreign races was simply overkill. The many martial artists and soldiers who were originally in despair were now dumbfounded. What was going on? What level of expert had attacked? Zhou had killed 2 king-level demon beasts, 1 king-level giant insect, and even destroyed 2 siege machines that were extremely threatening to the martial artists and soldiers. More interestingly, Zhou's huge palm print created a deep pit the size of a basketball court on the ground. Because the wood essence energy was too rich, many weeds, flowers, and trees were growing crazily in the deep pit. Hiss! Is this a gardener's cultivation technique? After striking with his palm, Zhou did not know whether to laugh or to cry. After cultivating the 5 elements Grand Yan record, he already had wood essence energy. Therefore, it was not difficult for him to use the secret technique of the greenwood spring autumn art. However, this was also the first time he had used the demonic wood palm. He did not expect the effect to be so shocking. If he went to a barren land and slapped them a few times, wouldn't the desert become an oasis? Of course, this was only a thought. There were still many things that needed to be resolved. The reinforcements are here. Everyone, don't be nervous. This is President Zhou of the Supernatural Council. Zhou's palm just now was incomparably terrifying, scaring many people. After all, many martial artists and soldiers were unfamiliar with Zhou. If Zhou could kill so many foreign races and siege machines with a single palm, it meant that he could also shatter the city wall at the front line. After learning that Zhou was the honorary president of the Supernatural Council and had repeatedly contributed to the war in the 7th Spatial Rift, many martial artists and soldiers were excited. They saw hope for victory. Previously, they had been forced to retreat step by step because their upper-level combat strength was severely lacking and they were also threatened by the machine race's laser cannon. Now that President Zhou had arrived, the situation would definitely gradually stabilize. As everyone was thinking this, Zhou's figure had already begun to move through the battlefield. The essence energy in his body was limited, so he was unable to constantly use it to fight. He had to make the best use of his time and kill all the foreign races he could before reinforcements arrived. As he began to kill crazily, his luck points kept jumping visibly. Luck points was his ultimate foundation. The higher his luck points, the more confident he became. Previously, his luck points had been depleted. Even though his strength had improved greatly, he still felt that something was wrong. How powerful! Damn! Is he even human? Heavens, he's simply invincible. Is this the glory of a president of the Supernatural Council? Too damn strong. Many martial artists and soldiers were dumbfounded as they watched Zhou kill his way into the foreign races. The current Zhou was simply like a ferocious tiger that killed its way into a pack of wolves. He killed wherever he went. Until now, there had been no powerful foreign race that could fight Zhou for a prolonged period of time. Usually, they would be suppressed and killed in 3 to 5 rounds. At most, they would last 10 rounds before losing to Zhou. Zhou's existence also instantly attracted most of the firepower. Not good. These foreign races have all surrounded and attacked President Zhou. Let's go and support them. Quick! Quick! We can't let anything happen to President Zhou. Help me up, I'll go over and help. In the beginning, everyone was shocked by Zhou. Now, they were incomparably worried. These foreign races were indeed not stupid. After discovering the problem, they immediately decided to resolve the most troublesome problem. If anything happened to Zhou, the losses to Huaxia would be incalculable. Demonic Wood Tree C. As the countless foreign races rushed over like a tide, Zhou could no longer care about conserving his essence energy. After using the Demonic Wood Tree C, the surrounding thin wood essence energy was also drawn by him. In an instant, countless vines and other plants grew crazily from the ground, riddling the nearby foreign races with holes and draining their nutrients on the spot. As the essence energy in Zhou's body was constantly being consumed, the sea of trees also became taller and wider. Many demon race, insect race, machine race, and other foreign race beings were also being devoured by the demonic wood tree sea at this moment. The area beside Zhou had become a vacuum. Chapter 226, The True Backbone of Humanity. Damn! This! Damn, a heaven-level big shot hidden on planet Earth. How strong! President Zhou is amazing, impressive. The people who had been worried about Zhou's safety just now immediately realized that their worry was completely unnecessary. This President Zhou of the Supernatural Council was simply awesome. A single man could hold back 10,000 enemies. After Zhou appeared, the powerful foreign race beings were unable to advance any further. On the other side, Ling Shuiying, who had resolved the crisis of the other spatial rift, was dragging her exhausted body as she jumped down from the sky fighter. She was prepared to kill more foreign race beings as soon as possible. After killing these foreign race beings, she would be able to rest well. However, when Ling Shuiying erupted with an overwhelming aura and landed from the sky, she was immediately dumbfounded after killing a peak-level Grand Master-level demon beast with a flying knee. What the hell was going on? Didn't they say that the 6th spatial rift was about to be completely lost? Now, almost all the powerful foreign races here had been killed. Moreover, what was going on with the distant Sea of Trees? Sea of Trees? Wait. After discovering the Sea of Trees, Ling Shuiying suddenly recalled that the cultivation technique Zhou had previously obtained was the Greenwood Spring Autumn art. This Sea of Trees was one of the accompanying secret techniques of the Greenwood Spring Autumn technique, the Demonic Wood Tree Sea. She remembered that when she was young, her grandfather used the Demonic Wood Tree Sea to create a small tree. All along, she had thought that the Demonic Wood Tree Sea was just for gardening. She did not expect it to be so terrifying. After Ling Shuiying arrived, Zhou also felt weak. In order to resolve the many foreign races here as soon as possible, the essence energy in his body was directly consumed cleanly, without even a drop. Of course, his gains were also huge. He directly earned more than 40 million luck points. After killing so many foreign races, he also had to obtain a lot of colored energy crystals. On the worn-down city tower, Ling Shuiying looked at Zhou in disbelief. No matter how heaven-defying Zhou was, he couldn't be so monstrous, right? Not long ago, Zhou obtained the Greenwood Spring Autumn art from her. In the end, Zhou had actually cultivated the Demonic Wood Tree Sea to such an extent. Compared to Ling Shuiying's shock, the many martial artists at the sixth line of defense were more excited. Previously, when the foreign races attacked the city gate tower, many people thought that the sixth defense line was going to be lost. But now, after Zhou arrived, he had forced back the foreign race army on his own. Even though they had seen it with their own eyes, this was still an unbelievable and shocking matter. Clean the battlefield and repair the defensive fortifications. As many martial artists and soldiers were pleasantly surprised, the supernatural expert guarding the sixth spatial rift also walked out covered in blood. This supernatural martial artist was holding a golden saber and was also extremely famous. He was called the Golden Saber Ding Peng. Among the many supernatural martial artists in Huaxia, he was also ranked at the top. President Zhou, thank you for coming to the rescue in time. Ding Peng's body was filled with a murderous aura, and his voice was hoarse like an owl. Unlike most other supernatural martial artists, Ding Peng's strength was obtained from experiencing countless life and death situations on the battlefield. Now, even as he stood in front of Zhou Hao could sense the incomparably dense killing intent on his body. You're welcome. Zhou Hao replied casually. The reason why he came this time was firstly to resolve the situation and secondly, it was because of his personal matter. Now, he had obtained a lot and his luck points had broken through 40 million again. This was almost the most luck points he had ever accumulated in a single battle. President Zhou, there aren't many martial artists that I admire. Old Ding doesn't even care about those gold-plated martial artists from the training camps and fortresses. However, Old Ding is completely convinced by you, President Zhou. You single-handedly stopped the attack of countless foreign races. You are truly the backbone of humanity. At this moment, Ding Peng was extremely excited and sincere. Elder Ding, what's the meaning of this? Beside Zhou Hao, Ling Shuiying had a displeased expression. Zhou Hao was an itinerant cultivator whereas Ling Shuiying was a martial artist from the school. Ding Peng's words just now could basically be considered as an insult to all the martial artists that graduated from training camps. Chapter 227, Becoming Famous in a Battle. Ha ha ha. At this moment, many surrounding martial artists also laughed. Ding Peng was also somewhat embarrassed. He was a rough man and more or less had the aura of a pugilist. What he had said just now was mainly to express his respect and gratitude towards Zhou Hao. He did not have the intention of insulting others. After Ling Shuiying got here, the other experts from the Green Cloud Division also arrived to provide support. However, when they saw this scene, many supernatural experts were dumbfounded. Old Ding, what's going on? Ding Peng had been a supernatural expert for a long time, and most supernatural martial artists were very familiar with him. After everyone arrived, they also asked Ding Peng in confusion. Seeing that Ding Peng was covered in blood and his saber was about to curl up, everyone understood that the previous battle must have been very arduous. But now, why had the battle here ended? Ding Peng naturally began to talk about the battle just now. Everyone knew Ding Peng well and would never say anything rash. Therefore, after the supernatural martial artists heard Ding Peng's words, the confusion in their eyes also changed to surprise. Then, the surprise turned into shock. President Zhou. Damn, is that true? You're saying that President Zhou defeated the foreign race army alone? The supernatural experts who were usually high and mighty were all completely dumbfounded. Now, they all finally learned about how dangerous the previous situation was. Those foreign races had even rushed up the city wall. Under such a dangerous situation, it was simply inconceivable for Zhou Hao to be able to kill the foreign race army alone. As everyone spoke, they vaguely addressed Zhou Hao as the Supernatural Council's strongest president. After the battle here ended, Zhou Hao did not stay for long and returned to the 7th training camp. When Zhou Hao returned to his villa, the news of his battle spread like a hurricane in the martial artist circle. In fact, many martial artists already knew about Zhou Hao's actions in the 7th spatial rift. This battle allowed him to become completely famous among the Huaxia martial artists. Ding Shiji and the others were very happy when they heard this news. The current situation was getting worse and worse. Zhou Hao's appearance had undoubtedly given them all a boost in morale. In the villa, Zhou Hao had already opened the virtual screen of the Heaven Dao software. He had obtained more than 40 million luck points in this battle. He had also obtained the materials of various demon race, insect race, machine race, and other foreign race beings. After adding them together, he had obtained a total of 600 colored energy crystals. Compared to blood essence, essence energy is clearly stronger. However, the essence energy outside the spatial rift is very thin. Not only does it seem to circulate slowly during cultivation, but it also seems to be slow in recovery. After charging 600 colored energy crystals for 60 billion Heaven Dao coins, Zhou Hao also began to think if he should continue opening mystery boxes or go to the live stream room to take a look. Speaking of which, it seemed that he had not visited Fairy Yuling's live stream for a long time. During this period of time, he had many things to do in the real world. Last time, he wanted to go and take a look, but he ended up encountering the upgrade of the Heaven Dao software. In Fairy Yuling's live stream, ever since she started showing her face, her popularity had indeed increased a little. However, these days, it had gone back to being lukewarm. Her live stream ranking was now in between 70,000 and 80,000. At first, it was still stable, but recently, it gradually fell. Facing this situation, Fairy Yuling could only smile bitterly. She was already very grateful that Zhou Hao could help her this once. Therefore, these days, she did not send any messages to disturb Zhou Hao. In Fairy Yuling's opinion, a super big shot like Zhou Hao might have long forgotten about her. Hi, if a big shot doesn't come, Fairy Yuling's live stream will be on the verge of closing down. A user joked on the chat. Ha ha ha, brothers, let's pool our resources together. Otherwise, her rankings will definitely drop below 75,000. Fairy Yuling had a gentle personality, a sweet and charming voice. Moreover, she also had a peerlessly beautiful face that could cause cities to fall. Although there were currently no top-notch big shots helping out in the live stream, there were still many hardcore fans. At this moment, many fans were giving small gifts to Fairy Yuling. At the same time, they also hoped to be able to witness a miracle. Regardless of whether it was gold or platinum users, one could still stand a chance at winning something. Although not many people won, their losses were still acceptable. Suddenly, a string of words appeared on the screen of the live stream. I'm just an ordinary person who has entered the live stream room. Seeing these words, an excited and happy expression flashed across Fairy Yuling's beautiful face. Chapter 228, It's best to be careful. She thought that Zhou Hao had already forgotten about her. She did not expect him to appear in her live stream room again. Welcome, big shot. I'm just an ordinary person. Fairy Yuling's beautiful eyes were filled with splendor. The other users in the live stream were in an uproar. Ah! Impressive! Big shot, you're here to see Fairy Yuling again. This is great news for Fairy Yuling. With the big shot around, Fairy Yuling's rankings can soar again. I'm just an ordinary person. Big shot, teach me your secret technique. Please help me. I'm just an ordinary person. I finally get to see you. I'm just an ordinary person. How impressive! How impressive! The big shot has appeared again. Big shot, you're awesome. Last time, this big shot opened the mystery box and got 7 rare level items and 1 legendary level item. Damn! That impressive? Really? Really? I didn't even know that. Zhou Hao's appearance was like a stone thrown into a calm lake. It immediately lit up Fairy Yuling's live stream. Many users were even more excited than Fairy Yuling. Big shot, tell us what a legendary level item is like. I'm just an ordinary person. Big shot, please teach me how to open a box next time. Damn! It's really the big shot. And I'm just an ordinary person. Many users kept entering Fairy Yuling's live stream room. Everyone was very curious about this super big shot who had consecutively obtained 7 rare level items and 1 legendary level item. Big shot, tell me. How many mystery boxes did you open last time? You got so many good things at once, damn, I am so jealous. Big shot, I'll pay you handsomely if you teach me how to open boxes. I'm just an ordinary person. You just have to open them. As many users at him crazily, Zhou casually responded. It was not that he did not want to share his secret, but he simply could not share it. He was the only one with luck points. It was just like Su Ling and Ji Yufan's special physiques. They were the only ones who had them. Here, he did not have a special physique but instead had luck points. Although he was just saying it casually, he was not talking nonsense. This was because there was no secret to obtaining rare level items from mystery boxes. Ha ha ha, I bet the big shot is here to make a big scene again. And I'm just an ordinary person. Brothers, the big shot said it himself. You just have to open them. Tisk. Just do it. Fairy Yuling's ranking will probably soar to 65,000 this time. Isn't that right, big shot? And I'm just an ordinary person. Big shot, can you tell us when you give a gift? We'll give as much as you give. And I'm just an ordinary person. It's certain. With a big shot around, it's basically guaranteed that Fairy Yuling's ranking will go past 70,000 tonight. Do you understand? Many users were very excited. As more and more users rushed over, Zhou was checking the gifts in the live stream. There were still 6 types of platinum level gifts. They were energy bars, bloodline pills, cultivation technique pages, comprehension stone tablets, divine body constitution and concept scrolls. The types of gifts did not increase, but the description of one of the gifts changed. The gift that changed was the energy bar worth 10,000 coins. This energy bar was an upgraded version of the original energy bar. After using it, one could recover their blood essence power and also increase their cultivation level. Before upgrading, be it the platinum energy bar or the lower level energy bar, they were of little use to the current Zhou. However, things were different this time. After the Heaven Dao software was upgraded, users could obtain a higher level rare level energy bar if they gave away the energy bar. I was just an ordinary person. Has anyone gotten a rare level energy bar before? What is this? Because the description of the gift did not have a detailed explanation, Zhou could only ask in the live stream. Big shot, I've gotten one before. The drop rate is very low, but the effect is good. Compared to ordinary energy bars, rare level energy bars are more likely to be used to recover higher level energy. The drop rate of rare level energy bars seemed to be very low. There were many users in Fairy Yuling's live stream room, but not many people had obtained one before. However, after these users explained, Zhou also understood that this was probably what he wanted. On planet Earth, the essence energy that naturally existed in the world was very thin. The closer one got to the spatial rift, the richer it became. After entering the spatial rift, the deeper the surroundings, the richer and more majestic the essence energy became. However, it was also more dangerous in the depths. Zhou had already decided to try his best not to enter the depths of the spatial rift before reaching the heaven realm. It was better to be safe than sorry. Chapter 229, There's no end to the big shot's Heaven Dao coins. Therefore, on planet Earth, if one wanted to quickly recover their essence energy, they could only use essence crystals. The exchange rate for essence crystals and colored energy stones was very exaggerated. 100 colored energy stones could only be exchanged for 1 essence crystal. Zhou estimated that essence crystals could only be used as currency and could not be used as cultivation resources at all. Otherwise, who could afford to use them? However, things were different now. In the live stream, one could get rare level energy bars. If he sold this rare level energy bar, it would definitely fetch a sky-high price. Is the big shot going to try gifting the rare level energy bar? I'm looking forward to it. And I'm just an ordinary person. Big shot, how many will it take to win? And I'm just an ordinary person. After Zhou Hao entered Fairy Yu Ling's live stream, this live stream no longer seemed to have anything to do with her. Whether it was the old users or the new users, all the conversation topics were related to Zhou Hao. Chi, are you kidding me? If the big shot knew how he needed to give away to win, Fairy Yu Ling would have long been ranked first on the broadcast rankings. Alright. A user called Brother Sanpang acted like he knew what was going on and began to educate the other users. Idiot, do you really think you can understand a big shot? A big shot is a big shot because he can win without knowing how many it takes. Do you understand? Another user shook his head. What this user meant was that as long as the big shot gave enough, he would get the reward. It was just like buying a lottery ticket. If one really wanted to win the first prize of the lottery, wouldn't one be able to do so if they bought all the tickets? Stop bothering the big shot. Actually, the big shot has already helped me a lot. Moreover, after the big shot came to my live stream room, he also brought me a lot of popularity. Thank you very much. Fairy Yu Ling was not a greedy person. Previously, she was already satisfied that Zhou Hao could help her rankings get past 80,000. Now, she treated Zhou Hao like a good friend and did not want to ask for anything from him. Moreover, Zhou Hao was now the leader of the mystery box industry. No matter which live stream he appeared in, he would bring extremely terrifying popularity to that live stream. Although there had always been a steady stream of users entering Fairy Yu Ling's live stream, Zhou Hao still made a big difference. Moreover, after entering, Zhou Hao would attract a lot of attention. Fairy Yu Ling, this is your fault. Does the big shot lack this bit of Heaven Dao coins? That's right, that's right. That's right. There is no end to the big shot's Heaven Dao coins. Pu. Seeing these users typing crazily on the public chat, Zhou Hao almost spat out blood. Who said that there was no end to his Heaven Dao coins? Last time, in order to resolve the problem of his cultivation technique, Zhou Hao had spent all his Heaven Dao coins. Zhou Hao had only been able to obtain more Heaven Dao coins after killing many foreign races not long ago. After that, he directly used the colored energy crystals he obtained to top up his Heaven Dao coins. With a thought, Zhou Hao did not delay and directly spent 10 million luck points to get the energy bar reward. Because the various live stream rooms were connected, there were also many users who gifted platinum level energy bars to the other live stream rooms. Therefore, the numbers behind the energy bar simply changed indefinitely. At this moment, there was the number 50 next to the energy bar. In other words, Zhou Hao could win if he gave away 50 energy bars. However, the number 50 did not even last for half a breath before it instantly became another number. In this situation, if the next number was not a big number, Zhou Hao would still have to rely on his hand speed. When the number behind the energy bar got to 179, Zhou Hao prepared to give it a try. Almost as soon as this number appeared, Zhou Hao made a move. In the end, the reward still exploded in other live streams. However, the multipliers should be very low, and there was no announcement floating in the entire live stream. Wow, wow, wow! The big shot is making a move. In one move, the big shot spent 1.79 million Heaven Dao coins. Big shot, you're awesome! Why would the big shot care about such a small amount of Heaven Dao coins? Seriously. As many users discussed, Zhou Hao could only smile bitterly. What he needed the most now were rare level energy bars. Unfortunately, each energy bar cost 10,000 Heaven Dao coins. Ordinary players couldn't afford it, but high-level users could. The number behind the energy bars kept fluctuating. Zhou Hao could even imagine that before this number completely appeared, the other live stream users would have already gotten the reward. However, there was nothing he could do now. He could only attack continuously. In any case, he had 60 billion Heaven Dao coins now, so he had nothing to worry about. Chapter 230, Wasting Money Like Earth. As countless users in Fairy Yuling's live stream were in an uproar, Zhou directly spent money like dirt and attacked repeatedly. In the beginning, he had waited for a few seconds, but now, he did not stop. No matter what the luck number was, he would swipe it when he saw it. Ding! Congratulations, I am just an ordinary person. You have received the reward multiplied by 10 times for giving away the energy bar. Ding! Congratulations, I am just an ordinary person. You have received the reward multiplied by 20 times for giving away the energy bar. Ding! Congratulations, I am just an ordinary person. You have received the reward multiplied by 10 times for giving away the energy bar. Under Zhou's bombardment, he also began to get the rewards continuously. After all, the other users were giving away gifts blindly while he knew exactly how many he needed to give. However, what made Zhou feel a little annoyed was that the drop rate of rare level energy bars was simply as low as the drop rate of rare level mystery boxes. After a long time, not even a single rare level energy bar had appeared. In Fairy Yuling's live stream, many users were dumbfounded. Although there were some top-notch big shots in the various live stream rooms, there were still very few big shots like Zhou who quietly gave away many gifts. Zhou was not a quiet person. However, 10 million luck points could only buy him 60 seconds. He simply did not dare to delay. After the first 60 seconds ended, Zhou continued to grind. 10 million luck points instantly evaporated. At the same time, he also caused an uproar in Fairy Yuling's live stream. Although they had long heard of Zhou's spending style and many users had seen it with their own eyes, everyone was still dumbfounded. They all watched with open mouths, their hearts surging. Zhou's violent and ruthless spending method was too exciting. This thing is actually so difficult to get. After spending 20 million luck points in a row and not even getting a single rare level energy bar, Zhou was somewhat depressed. However, there probably weren't many of them. He had been in Fairy Yuling's live stream for such a long time, but he had not seen any other live streamers get rare level energy bars. Fairy Yuling clenched her fists tightly. She was really too nervous and excited. The surprise had come too suddenly, making her somewhat at a loss. Over the past few days, her ranking in the live stream had been falling, and it was difficult for her to stabilize it. But now, her ranking was soaring like a rocket. This was because while Zhou was buying gifts, the other users in her live stream also started following him in hopes of getting the reward. At this moment, they all started spending crazily. It couldn't be helped. After all, Zhou was a legendary figure on the Mystery Box channel. So far, among all the users, only Zhou had ever gotten a legendary level item. In addition, Zhou was also the user who obtained the most rare level items. Under such circumstances, no matter which live stream Zhou was in, he would instantly attract a large number of people to watch. Big shot! Fairy Yuling's live stream ranking has already reached 65,000. How impressive! She has already surpassed 5,000 streamers. Big shot, you're so impressive, and I'm just an ordinary person. Big shot, why are we so unlucky? And I'm just an ordinary person. During Zhou's violent spending, many users also gave gifts with him. However, everyone realized that compared to Zhou, they were just pitiful people who had been forgotten by the heavens. Nonsense! Look at how many rewards the big shot got and how many you got. Moreover, the big shot gets a lot of rewards but he also misses often. The big shot is probably trying to get a rare level energy bar. This thing seems to appear only a few times a day. After it appears, there won't be any more. It's hard to say. There are different numbers every day. On the public chat of Fairy Yuling's live stream, everyone was watching Zhou enviously. They also wanted to be as rich and monstrous as Zhou. Unfortunately, Zhou was busy getting the rewards and naturally did not have the time to care about them. The 60 seconds seemed even shorter when he had paid for them with his luck points. Zhou did not even get many rewards before the 60 seconds ended. He could only helplessly stop giving away gifts. Big shot, why don't you try something else? I'm just an ordinary person. That's right, big shot. The rare level energy bar has appeared a few times today. It might not appear again. Many users seem to have guessed that Zhou wanted a rare level energy bar. Now that Zhou had spent nearly 5 billion Heaven Dao coins, he had gotten many ordinary energy bars but not a single rare level energy bar. Zhou looked at the remaining 20 million luck points and hesitated for a moment.